Baker.
And prayer and meditation. You may be seated. Let me acknowledge once again, on the second day of this House sitting, the presence of the Honourable Premier, MECs, Honourable Nata, get into your seat. MEC, all Honourable members that are present in the House. Why does the House look a bit empty today? Honourable Chief Whip. Thank you so much once again that I see the seats are occupied. Leader of Government Business on my left-hand side, Honourable Premier. It's good that those seats are occupied. To those in the gallery, good morning, welcome. I'm not sure if those are just staff. They are sitting right at the back there in the dark. I'm not sure why that is, but you are all welcome. And to all of those that are following us on our social networks, such as Facebook and YouTube, we wish you well this morning. Goeiemôre mense. Ons het 'n baie lang dag voor. Yes, dis 'n baie lang dag voor, so ons moet al die geduld hê van vandag met mekaar. Honourable members, please, before we commence our business, may I take this opportunity to once again just lay down the ground rules that will assist us in facilitating our sitting. We are reminded once again that this is a formal sitting of the legislature and therefore all the standing rules of the legislature applies. Members and guests must keep their cell phone and other devices on silent. And I would also like to add that please, honourable members, please ensure that when you are whispering to each other, please do it so that I don't hear from you what you are discussing. Because even now I can hear from my left-hand side, people are speaking on that side. So please, it's good that the side is quiet because I could actually hear what they were saying at the side. So, Honourable Wardendal. Honourable members, firstly, before we start, let me also inform you that the multi-party whips took the following decisions. That the sitting of today will not have any motions as well as member statements. The only motion to be considered today will be that of transport. The Chief Whip will deal with that. But before we even get to that, I would also just want to say to members today we will be doing in terms of the agenda for the House that we will be having questions. Now, I'm not going to stop again when we get to the questions. Just to note to members, I've gone through a few of those questions, but those are for the political party. Please ensure that in future, when questions are posed to the honourable members, the questions are direct. The question must not ask a question like, you know, a project. It must ask the name of the project. It must ask the year if it wants the relevant information. I have picked up that there are questions like that. And when the honourable MECs are going to stand up and to say, well, they did not have the information, it is not for them to run after you that have posed the question to ask the detail. You are supposed to submit that. So it's a learning curve, and we all understand that perhaps the MECs, their PLOs, and have gone out of their way to seek the relevant information. If that has been done, good and well. But I am just indicating to honourable members. I have also noted that there's quite a number of questions that will have 3, 4, even 5 sub-questions to it. Today we are having 36 questions on the order paper. Now we know we won't, if that is the case, we won't even get to half of them, to 20 at most. So perhaps I will look at and frame a rule possibly in future that we should not have actually more than 2 sub-questions, because that will allow all questions. There are MECs in the last for the last 2 years that no question was ever posed, or they never stood up to respond to questions because of how alphabetically the order paper is put out. I think on 1 or 2 occasions I had tried to lift it and to put them up even before the Premier. But I think we must just look at a smarter way of how we are going to pose the questions so that in our session, and it's not the hour itself that is an issue, because I usually go above the hour. I think it's just to give a fair reflection that all questions are actually done and concluded in that House sitting. We've had a number of occasions in the last term where we had to roll over questions into 3 or 4 House sittings because of the questions that are being posed and the number of sub-questions. But it is still your decision, honourable members. I will look at it, and then I will obviously inform the House how we deal with that. So let us start with the business of the day, and we will call upon the Chief Whip to table the motion. Honourable Chief Whip.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to you, the Honourable Premier and the Executive, the members of this august House, the guests and the support staff. I accept our greetings this morning. Madam Speaker, I move without notice in terms of Rule 130 that the House, in terms of the powers afforded to it by Rule 3.1, suspends the provisions of Rule 73.3, which provides that a committee report may not be debated in the House unless it has been circulated to all members of the legislature at least 2 days prior to the intended debate. The reason for this is due to the fact that the report on transport has only been adopted on Monday, 9 of September 2024. I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chief Whip. Honourable members, I put the motion. Thank you, Honourable Pillay, for that wake-up call. We will now move to the question paper. Just trying to get... Okay. We will start with questions to the Premier, Honourable Knutse. May I just state also, please, to the new MECs that is with us, do not read the questions. Just respond to the, say, with respect to question 1, and respond everything in the specific question. Don't go to first reading the question that is posed. My understanding is that the honourable members that have posed these questions should have received in writing these questions with them. So we will start with the Premier, and then I will move according to the order paper that is there. Thank you so much. Over to you, Honourable Premier. First question from Honourable Dr. Knutse.
Honourable Speaker, thank you very much. Good morning, and good morning to all honourable members, and good morning to the guests. Dr. Knutse is not here.
No, you may proceed. I know that she is not here. She has assigned somebody else.
Okay. Who is Dr. Knutse on that side? On question 1, Honourable Speaker, the answers are detailed on Annexure A and Annexure B. It's very detailed because of the nature of the question. I'm not sure whether must I really go. I hope that members do have these annexures. And
Honourable Premier, can you please start with the response? Yes. I think it is important that you start with the response. If you will decide at a particular point if there are figures and tables involved, then you can refer to it, but there's also a narrative that is required in terms of question 1. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. On tools of trade, question A, the purchase price is 69,470. Those are Apple iPads and all that. The ministerial handbook makes provision for MEC to be allocated an amount of 60,000, subject to an annual limitation for cellulars, cell phone, as well as the cost of calls, and for the provision of computer equipment officials. On B, the ministerial handbook dictates that ExCo members shall be provided with one vehicle for official use, and provision of 700,000 has been made under CAPEX as per the ministerial handbook. Under health, the ministerial handbook, the price is 42,000. This laptop HP Elite by 2 G8 iPhone 15 Pro Max is 31,870. The ministerial handbook makes provision for the MEC to be allocated. So all that has been done is done in line with what ministerial handbook says: education, tools of trade, DSTV premium subscription, cell phone monthly subscription, tools of trade expenditure, premium subscription is at 1,000 rand. The ministerial handbook makes provision for MEC to be allocated an amount of 60,000, subject to an annual limitation for cellular phones, as well as cost of calls, etc. For cell phone under Department of Education, as well as the laptop, if laptop is Lenovo X13 Yoga. And then cell phone monthly subscription is 1,249. Lenovo X3 is 53,000 and 2 rand, 81 cents. Under DESREC, procurement for the new MEC is underway as per the dictation of the ministerial handbook, and it will be allocated according to what ministerial handbook says. It is detailed there. Under transport, and transport item, we were young into item with bag and all that, but all in all, the detail is there in the Annexure A. My worry is that Dr. Knutze is not here with these answers. The person who asked others, they say they don't have. The ministerial handbook makes provision for MEC to be allocated an amount of 60,000, which is a kind of a standard amount that is actually in the ministerial handbook. And B, the ministerial handbook dictates that ExCo members shall be provided with vehicle for official use and imoto zonke as a MEC. They are at 700,000. We only differ in terms of choices on tools of trade, on whatever an MEC or Premier uses or prefers. But all in all, everything that has been done in summary, Honorable Speaker, it is in line with what is actually provided for in the ministerial handbook. Whether you go to human settlement, you go to public works, you see Annexure B for public works, it's detailing there as well, but it is also in line with what is contained in the ministerial handbook. And Dr. Da, the tools of trade, computer, elite book, HP, Kondondo, Zanda, Wavalama, So, but all that is allowed in the ministerial handbook. They can only do what is within and allowed in the ministerial handbook. The date, cell phone, iPhone 5 Pro, and yes, no, I don't. Airtime and data for cell phone, iPad Pro, M4, 256 GB, and all those, younger Londo, all in all, it goes up into that amount, but it's also reflected that it is within the ministerial handbook. Provincial Treasury, iPad and mobile device, 36,000. Mobile device, Apple Pro Max 1 TB, it's 17,000. So also that is within the ministerial handbook. The only thing what differs is the choice and of the executive council members or executing authorities. Under COGTA, the MEC has been bought laptop HP Elite Book. It's 39,000. Napaya we don't. 39,000. That's the price. The ministerial handbook makes provision for MECs to be allocated. So it's just the differences of the products and that people are using, but that is done within what is acceptable, Honorable Speaker, within the ministerial handbook. And the bonindo eti ikhona into engapha ya the ministerial handbook. On B, the vehicles that is needed for more details. Cooperative governance is using a BMW. The model year 2023, the registration number is KHN215EC. And the BMW is X3 Drive 20i. Its price is 767, 800 and what. Public Works is using BMW as well. It is 798. Audi, Economic Development, 580. Education, BMW, X3, 767. Health, Volkswagen, Audi. ZQ5 is Audi, near Siambangaso. Siglon is 738. The rural development is using Audi Q5, 795. Desrec BMW, 767. Transport Audi, 738. Office of the Premier Audi Q5. Office of the Premier Audi Q5, 746. Social Development, Volkswagen Audi Q5, 737. Human Settlement, BMW, 730. So the cars are within what is acceptable as per the determination by the national. Standby vehicles, that is old vehicles, because the question goes to that extent. What is happening with those? The old vehicle that was bought, public was in 2021, BMW X4, same 700. 2020 Economic Development, BMW still 730. Arts and Culture, Discovery Sport, 769. Cooperative Governance, BMW 633. Social Development, Volkswagen, Audi Q7, 782. Human Settlement, Audi Q7, 678. So Yeah, those are cars, Honorable Speaker, in terms of expatiating on the question asked under question 1, A, B. So if I move to question 2, but also Annexure B gives the details as well. The response under question 2 are provided.
Can I perhaps stop? Can we, Honorable Kasim, standing in for Dr. Knutzer, can the response suffice, because it's a lot of information that is there? Yes, because I think the follow-up questions basically speaks to the limit, and if the limit was adhered to for the tools of trade, as well as basically for the models that is there. Thank you so much. May we go to the second question also from Honorable Knutzer to the Honorable Premier?
Sorry, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kasim.
Are you going to allow a follow-up question?
You have a follow-up question on the figures.
Yes.
What is the follow-up question?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We do have the response. It's been sent to us, and I'd like to thank the Premier for the response. My follow-up question based on the Premier's response is as follows. Through you, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Premier has spoken about cost containment being necessary in the province. From the response of the Premier, 10 out of the 11 vehicles for MECs, including the Premier's own vehicle, exceeds the 700,000 Rand limit in the ministerial handbook. And 4 of the 6 standby vehicles also exceed the 700,000 Rand limit. My question in this respect, Honourable Speaker, is what consequences are there where the limit is exceeded? From which budget does this come from, since the capital budget is limited to 700,000 Rand? And what cost containment measures are actually being put in place in order to limit the benefits?
Honorable Kasim, that is, you've just gone way outside of the follow-up question, the rules for follow-up questions. No. Your first question was sufficed, basically exceeding the follow-up question into the detail of now coming into which budget it has been paid from, and cost containment measures is taking the question way outside the realm of what a follow-up question is supposed to be. I think if Premier can respond to the first part of your question, I think that will suffice, and you can follow up that in writing to the Premier through Honorable Dr. Knutzer. Please, Honorable Kasim, that question is way out of here. I'm looking at the initial questions that have been posed here. I'm even going to question 5, the issue of the accounts for those, but that follow-up question is taking really out of the realm of what a follow-up question should be.
Can I complete my follow-up question?
No, I am not allowing you to continue with your follow-up question. I'm saying the first part, the Premier can respond to the first part of your follow-up question, not the second and the third part. Sure. You may be seated, Honorable Kasim.
Thank you. I can't even remember the first one, Honorable Speaker, but I think the point was about the limit, and I think we can come back to him in writing on that particular aspect from a procurement point of view. As you could see that even that 700, it's 700 and this and that, even them, they are not consistent as they are being put in differently. But I think we can give a proper answer in relation to what the ministerial handbook in writing again.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Can we then go to question 2, also from Honourable Dr. Knutzer to the Premier?
Because the answer to question 2 I also provided in the Annexure A as the detail I was giving, because what was the allocated budget for tools of trade and all that. So I gave that comprehensively when I was speaking on actually question 1. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. The question 2 talks on this issue of small town revitalization. The details of the beneficiary municipalities for small town revitalization from 2021-2022 financial years to 2023 to 2024 as follows. 2021 financial year, that's the list that is listed there in Ndlambe, particularly in Port Alfred, in Ndlambe, Nguza, Flagstaff, Port St. John's, Mzimvubu, Mount Ayleaf, Great Kai, Kaimouth, Kinza, Nguma, Ngamakwe, Ntabankulu, KSD, Mkandule, Bashe, Dutywa, Koukama, Jopetina, Kariedo, AB Kluma, Ngobo, Sundays River Valley, Kegut, Inokumkijima, Whitley, and Ilinge. Those are towns under 21-22. You will understand that those programs are normally done over the MTF period. 2022-2023 is Nguza, Hill, Flagstaff, the continuation as I've indicated above, Port St. John's, because Port St. John's were doing 9 kilometers, 3 kilometers per year in terms of the allocation that we had on small town revitalization. Mzimvubu, Mount Ayleaf, Great Kai, Kaimouth, and Kinza. Here we had a lot of details and problems. As I'm speaking to you now, the officials of OTP are in Kaimouth, led by CFO, still trying to resolve a number of issues that have been a problem in this part. Ngoma, Ngamakwe, Ntabankulu, KSD, Mkanduli, Mpashe, Idutywa, Koukama, Jopetina, Kariedo again, Puma, still Ngobo, Inokumkijima, Whitley, and Ilinge. 2023-2024 financial year, Ndlambe, LM, Port Alfred, Port St. John's, Mzimvubu, Mount Ayleaf, Great Kai, Kaimouth, Kinza, Nguma, Ngamakwe. It's a kind of almost all the continuation of that I've listed. As I've said, that these projects are not normally done over one financial year. They are actually overlapping to the MTF. So it's almost all the same municipality that I've spoken about up until their projects are concluded, Honorable Speaker. Question 2 of the question from Honorable. Yes, the subsection 2. The STR project scope of municipality and Ndlambe were doing a construction of 2.4 milliliter Thornhill Reservoir. The Port St. John's construction of 3.1 kilometer Agate Road project phase 2 and 3. Mzimvubu upgrade of 1.6 kilometer internal streets in Mount Ayleaf, and installation of the street lights. Construction of 1.2 kilometer road to Mount Ayleaf Cemetery. Sundays River, completion of 2 kilometer internal streets in Kirkwood Town. Surfacing of 2.5 kilometer internal streets in Besich and Moses Mabhida. KSD, upgrading of 3.7 kilometer of internal streets in Mkanduli. And Mkanduli, construction of Mkanduli DLTC, driver's license training center. Construction of grade A vehicle testing station in Mkanduli. They are almost all complete. They are ready to be handed over, those ones, including number of streets that are actually in Mkanduli within town. Koukama, construction of Jopetina grade A vehicle testing station. Installation of 6 high mast lights in Koukama. Upgrading of Jopetina internal streets, 2.4 kilometer road and sidewalks. And Ndabankulu, construction of Ndabankulu internal streets phase 1. Construction of Ndabankulu internal streets phase 2. Emalahleni, installation of 6 high mast lights in Ezingolweni, the area where we once had serious problems of crime. Installation of 6 high mast lights in Ngolweni phase 2. We had phase 1 and phase 2. Inogum Gijima, upgrading of 2.8 kilometer internal streets in Whitley, phase 1. Construction of 1.6 kilometer internal streets in Ilinge, 1A. Under 3, incomplete projects from the 2023-2024 financial year are as follows. PSJ, construction of 3-kilometer Agate Terrace Road, Phase 3. Expected time for the completion would have been 28 November 2024. And a Great Kai, surfacing of 3.7-kilometer internal streets in Twili, 1.8 kilometer, and Kai Mouth, 1.9. We are expected to be done by 30th of September 2025, with all the delays we experienced there. And Dambe, construction of 2.4 milliliter reservoir in Thornhill, 30th of October, that's a deadline target. Inogum Kijima, surfacing of 4.6-kilometer internal streets in Linga Phase 2 by 25th of October 2024. AB Kroma, surfacing of 3.2-kilometer road in Sawawa, 17 October 2024. Mbashe, surfacing of 3-kilometer internal streets in Aiduikwa Phase 2, 20th March 2026. KSD, surfacing of 3.67-kilometer internal streets in Mkandoli, 28 October 2024. Dabankulu, surfacing of 3-kilometer internal streets in Dabankulu Phase 2, 1st November 2024. Under 4, municipality prioritized towns, Emalahleni, Indwe, Dordrecht, Amahlati, Kiskamawuk, Statarim, Makana, Makanda, Inzika yetu, Xofemva Batsomo, Ngoshwa, Hamburg, Peti. Under 5, the municipality, sub-question 5, municipalities 2024-2025 budget. That's the budget allocation. The project scope, Emalahleni, 5 million, surfacing of internal streets and installation of the street lights in Indwe and Dordrecht town. And Amahlati, 4 million, surfacing of internal streets. Amakana, 4 million, surfacing of internal streets. Construction of a driver's license testing center and street lights in Makanda. In Zegayetu, 3 million, surfacing of the internal streets, installation of street lights and high mast lights in Xofimva Batsomo. Construction of transport hub in Tsomo. In Ngoshwa, 3 million, surfacing of internal streets and the installation of streets lights in Pedi and Hamburg. The selection criteria, the criteria used by OTP for selection of the above towns include the following: recognition of the previous and current efforts by the municipality to improve access to basic infrastructure, economic development potential, future impact of the intervention towards the municipality and the province, tourism potential, transportation linkage, knowledge, economic potential, existing and planned institution of higher learning, geographic spread across the province. The selection criteria above also consider that the potential growth of Eastern Cape Province as indicated in the National Special Development Framework and the Eastern Cape Small Town Development Framework approved by EXCO in August 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Premier. Can we go to the third question from Honourable Kruger to the Premier?
Kasim, you want a follow-up? Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. The answer to the one under question 3, there have been no engagements with the Metro yet. The Department of Culture, as led by the MEC, is working on scheduling a meeting with the municipality, with the municipal management to discuss, among other issues, the tariff structure of the municipality and ESCOM tariffs that are imposed to the municipality. A little bit of explanation around this one is that we all understand this issue of tariffs is a NERSA competence. So they are all imposed. And the unfortunate part about the Eastern Cape, it is very far from Mpumalanga. So when they impose those NERSA, they include the transmission cost which, as you all know, that we get our electricity from Mpumalanga. It gets transmitted here. So we are unlike Mpumalanga, Gauteng, all those who are 500 kilometers radius into that space. So we are so really disadvantaged. That's why we are investing so much on the renewable and other sources, looking at the mixed energy use that we're talking about, but also building the transmission capacity in these things. That's what we're discussing with the Minister of Electricity now, so that we focus on that and we are able to get more kind of relief from this kind of high cost that we have. I was talking to Mayor even yesterday to say probably I need to write a letter in support of them to the relevant national authorities, because we've got to work with them, spread what we hear on how these tariffs have done to our people in Buffalo City. Number two, the provincial government has not received any complaint regarding lack of public participation before the raise hike in PCM. I've been assured that these have been done, the public participation. The unfortunate part, Honourable Speaker, is that the A councillors in PCM don't hold public meetings. They don't. I know even where I stay, they call me when there's a problem of service delivery. When they have their own ward councillor, they call me. I mean DA members, they call me as a premier, complain, and I once asked another one, why is your ward councillor? Why would you complain to me about your street, about your refuse removal? Why must I go and look for mayor? Where is your ward councillor? They don't, so they would not know. Now people are revolting and reacting. DA is nowhere to be found. They are just sitting in, within those big walls, looking at themselves and their families. And come and ask these questions to us here. So on receipt of such submission or complaints, COGTA officials will be sent off to investigate and provide the necessary. That's what is being done now. Now that people are starting to complain because this has been done. Municipality has been on radios, has been on media, alert, everything has been out there, people on awareness about these issues. But at the point of this being affected by NERSA, and then people started to feel the pinch and complain. That's a very unfortunate part. Number three, councillors are encouraged regularly to participate on the Responsible Citizen campaign to educate communities on the challenges faced by government due to illegal connections. Most municipalities have developed community groups to guard against illegal connection. I think all of us, where we stay, if you stay under ward that is under DA, you must simply call a meeting and appoint ward committees that must help and assist these DA ward councillors that cannot do their work. Under three, councillors are encouraged regularly to participate on the Responsible Citizen campaign to educate communities on the challenges faced by the government due to illegal connection. Most municipalities have developed community groups and guard against illegal connections and vandalism. Okay.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. Fourth question from Honourable Saziwa to the Honourable Premier.
Honourable Speaker, may I be afforded the opportunity to have follow-up questions to the Premier? Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you for the responses, Honourable Premier. Noting that, as stated, there's been no engagements held between the provincial government and Buffalo City, despite the Premier committing to do so over a month ago, and noting that this is already the third month of the municipal financial year, Honourable Premier, you state that you have not received any complaints regarding the public participation. I have some complaints here from residents, if you would like them. These are all residents who live in ANC wards, considering you have decided to politicize this matter, Honourable Premier. These are residents, regardless of who their ward councillor are, that are burdened by these tariffs. When can residents such as Mrs. Matlewana, businessperson Mr. Kleinans, teacher Ms. Pillay, expect your government to take the burden of these ruinous tariffs seriously? How much longer must they wait? Thank you, Speaker.
Honourable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Kruger. I don't know why you had to go to the wards of ANC, leaving your own wards where there's a serious problem. But I definitely will be able to follow up. As I've said in the past, we are attending, and I said so, that I've entered that because I've been following up. I received the same complaints from individuals about these business people, and I've said I'm at a stage now of actually calling this DDM meeting where the ministers must be part of. Of course, I'm talking to the minister. I was talking to the minister even in China. We were together in China, same issue raising. And exactly as I'm saying, the technical problem we have is that NERSA, you all know, is the one that is responsible for this, and they don't consider the fact that we are where we are at the Eastern Cape. And we have said that before, that we might be peripheral to the center, but we are the center of the periphery. Where we are the center of the periphery. So people must consider such kind of a rural allowance. If it means we must take it up to the president or to the national, I know there will be soon an extended cabinet committee national, which includes Premier as well as, so this is an issue that we will never leave behind us when we get into such kind of platform. But this needs it's a departmental issue, NH and NERSA, to make sure that they are able to deal with it. So, and I've got too much as well, as you have those from the ANC side. I've got too much from the DA side, and I've resolved a lot of streets problems there that the people have been complaining.
Thank you, Honourable Saziwa. The question from Honourable Saziwa to the Honourable Premier. Honourable Premier, response to question 4, please.
I'm not sure whether they are aware still have a jet lag or that, so there's too much question. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. From Honourable Saziwa, the answer is the drawing from the previous administration. Key elements of the plan to harness CSI include investment by independent power producers. As a provincial government, we will facilitate collaboration between provincial and local government and independent power producers to enhance and foster synergies from the socio-economic development programs of NH projects. In the past, they have supported schools, clinics, libraries, and respective neighboring communities. They do. It's a question of proper coordination. Everybody goes to them, communities go to them, they respond for their local economic development content. So the issue of corporate social investment is an issue that I've been working on it in the Office of the Premier so that it can be centralized, so that it can be impactful. It's not a sort of a laissez-faire as it is now. But I can tell you a number of these power producers, the renewable energies, you see a lot of investment around Sarabadman. They've been working. Some are working with members of parliament, others working with councillors and mayors to donate in communities, whatever project that people are asking. The projects that benefit respective local communities see education and skills development in investment in education programs, bursaries, and vocational training to enhance skills within the communities. D, environmental protection initiatives aimed at promoting environmental sustainability, greening, etc. E, partnership with NGOs, that is collaboration or collaborating with for stronger relationship and stakeholder management. Question 2, red tape has impact on development and growth by delaying investment, increasing the risk of investment to be realized, risk of losing potential jobs, hindering business operations and expansion, reduction of current jobs. We might always raise the issue of the red tape. For me, it's ill discipline more than a red tape. For people who don't have respect for time frames, for people who just got used into system of government that sometimes cannot be agile. This is what we are working on and we are concentrating on. We have been telling people that investors, they don't need us. We need investors more than they need us. We must be chasing investors. They cannot come to us and we send them pillar to post, etc., as it is normally the case most of the time in the municipality space and elsewhere. So our job is to make sure that every investor that is here, potential, we are able to follow up and make sure that investor assists. Because this is where you are going to be creating jobs. Under 3, provincial government has taken the following steps. Eastern Cape Invest SA One-Stop Shop provides support in dealing with administrative regulatory issues, provision of aftercare, provision of information and unblocking blockages, the intergovernmental stakeholder coordination through various sectoral and investment structures are also utilized to deal with unblocking of issues faced by investors. For instance, we do have a PIF tomorrow. All mayors, all MECs will all under one roof so that we deal with a provincial consolidated approach on these issues. We said we are going to be launching this one-stop shop. It has been there for more than a year now, waiting for President to come and launch, or Minister of DTIC here in East London at Quigney. It is there, done, finished. And I said, I'm launching this year, whether they are there or not, I'm launching it. The provincial investment promotion agencies, ECDC, East London IDZ, Kuha Development Corporation, offered tailored facilitation services to investors. Thank you very much, Honourable.
Thank you so much, Honourable Premier. The fifth question from Honourable Vena to the MEC responsible for community safety. MEC Ngata.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to the honourable members and managers and distinguished guests. No cases with regards to the closure of businesses have been reported, Honourable Vena, in both Mthatha and Gqeberha due to protection fees. In respect of extortion, an extortion hotline has been established by the provincial office so that communities can report cases. Thus far, there are cases that have been reported since the inception of the extortion hotline. Two of the same question. Additional deployments are in place in Mthatha and Gqeberha to enhance visibility and reaction to complaints of extortion, as well as disruptive operations on known suspects. The allegation on members' involvement in extortion have been raised. However, no cases have been reported and registered to initiate the necessary investigations. Perhaps I can add, Honourable Speaker, to say that there is additional information which we can forward to the member, which was not available at the time of the response. Information which is about the case docket management report. It reports per districts how many cases were reported and how many arrests effected and all those kind of issues. We can forward that to the member as well.
For MEC to say there are no cases, we think that that is not the true reflection. But the second one is that yesterday we were told that he went and opened a case against the king, who was a whistleblower. Can he take us into confidence what prompted for that action instead of subjecting himself for investigation if his name is yes. No, it's in line with the third question. No, Speaker, go and read my questions there in front of you. We are saying that you are going to, and then I come back. No, I will sit down, Speaker, only if you are going to allow me to say, to put my case.
Apologies. To the original three questions that you have posed. Your first question, you are correct, but it is more a statement, but the MEC must still respond to that. But the second follow-up question, it does not follow the follow-up questions in terms of the rule.
Let me link it
yes,
for you.
Thank you so much.
Let me link it for your
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honourable Member. Thank you.
Because the issue of protection fees and extortion is a challenge that we're confronting. But at the same time, there are elements that seek to exploit this and circulate disinformation. That includes the garage in Mthatha, which was said to be closed because of protection fee. We have investigated the matter, spoke with the owner, it is not the case. We have checked with the doctor, investigated the matter, it is not the case. The fact that he received a call threatening the life, there was no demand for money. It was not related to this matter. So it is being investigated. So the point is, the statement and the response to your question remains true. Yeah, because we verify, we're not like making noise.
Thank you so much, Honourable. Thank you so much, Honourable MEC. The additional information that the MEC, no. The two honourable members may go out if your whips allow and go have tea, and you may continue your discussion. Honourable MEC has stated that additional information that became available, he will ensure it's put in writing to the honourable member. Thank you so much. The sixth question from Honourable Kasim to the Honourable MEC for Community Safety. Honourable Ngata, MEC Ngata.
Oh, okay. Yeah, question 6. GBV awareness campaigns focusing on rape, substance abuse, teenage pregnancy, bullying are being conducted to curb the scourge of gender-based violence. These awareness campaigns are still ongoing. There is a victim-friendly room at Libode SAPS, which is rendering victim support to victims of GBV, whereby all victims of GBV are interviewed in private with respect and dignity. There are also 3 probation officers which have been deployed at the victim-friendly room by the Department of Social Development to work in collaboration with SAPS, GBV coordinator, in terms of rendering service to victims of GBV. And SAPS is working in collaboration with other government departments and NGOs in order to provide support to victims of GBV. This partnership includes the Department of Social Development, Department of Health, Education, Justice, Correctional Services, Tuduzela Care Center, as well as different NGOs. There is no watching brief at this stage at Libode. Thank you.
Are you done with your 4th question? Honourable, can we move to Honourable Kasim? I was looking there. Yes, your follow-up question?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I've noted the MEC's response that there's no watching brief currently in Libode. My follow-up to the Honourable MEC is, does the MEC believe it will be necessary to institute a GBV watching brief, given the scourge that is now played out not only in that area but in other parts of the province? And if he does believe that it is necessary, is there any plans in place in order to implement watching briefs either in Libode or elsewhere in the province? Thank you, Speaker.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Member. I've noted the point, and I will consider it. For our decisions are research-based decisions, not based on rumor, what. So our researchers will do a research on the point you're making, which is not informed by any research, and make a decision on the basis of that. Yeah. Because the ones that we do a watching brief on them, it was informed by certain decisions that we declined to prosecute and all those kind of issues. So we'll do an assessment. I've noted what you say.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. The 7th question, also from Honourable Kasim to the MEC of Community Safety, MEC Ngata.
That is question 7. Thank you, Honourable Member. We've provided the details in terms of the arrests for each of the financial year. I don't know if I should go through that, because the information is available to the honorable member. And also on the successful murder convictions, we have provided the detail, 2019 to 2020, 20 suspects convicted in 11 cases, 13 life sentences, secured in those cases, and the total number of years that were secured in those 20 cases is 480 years. And it's listed even the other, financial year. The information is available. We also provide in the response unsuccessful convictions, murder-related cases that were investigated. We provide the information per each of the financial year where there's been unsuccessful convictions. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. Yes, Honourable Kassim.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Through you to the Honourable MEC. Honourable MEC, in this time period, January 2019 to August 2024, there have been, and this is in the question, Speaker said it is related to the question, 985 murders, gang-related murders in the northern areas. In your response, you referred to, in the same time period, 142 cases and 62 convictions. 62 convictions in that period out of 985 murders. What has happened to the other 843 cases of murder? Because that's not referred to in the response at all. 843 people who have been murdered, where there's no case that is referred to for them. And of course, out of this entire amount, only 62 convictions are being reported on. That is my follow-up to the Honourable MEC. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I'm not sure which statistics the member is using in terms of murders, whether it's the official stats, because it's something else to talk about the fact that about 10 people were murdered. It's something else to say 4 cases of murder were opened and investigated, and that is what we're reporting on. And therefore, I'm not sure, and therefore I would like the member maybe to provide me with that information and to re-look at it. But really, I'm not sure about its basis, because it seemed to be generally that he knows about 800 people were killed, and we talk about this, and we talk about people that committed murder cases were opened, and people were arrested, they were successfully prosecuted, some were not successfully prosecuted. That's the number we're talking about, which is based on official stats.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. Can we go to question 8? Can we go to question 8 from Honourable Lokoti to MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, MEC Williams?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and greetings to the House. Honourable Speaker, the department doesn't have a policy for rotation of municipal managers in cases of audit adverse opinions. And because that would tamper with the basic conditions of employment and all the labor relations that affect such employees. On vetting systems, we use the State Security Agency for that purpose and private companies to assist. And in any identification of adverse findings by those agencies, we then inform municipalities to, from the audit results that have just been reported by the Auditor General, we are going to engage all municipalities in respect of unauthorized, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure and irregular expenditure. And in cases where MPECs have actually issued reports about officials affected, therefore consequence management will be implemented. And we are currently capacitating the MPECs in order to be able to investigate irregularities as they relate to audit adverse findings. Our role is to actively participate and contribute in different work streams in various initiatives that we've engaged on in terms of municipal interventions. These include governance, institution building, and all other aspects that we work on. It is not accurate to say there's no improvement in all the work streams. Some work streams are performing well, except financial recovery work streams, which seem not to be getting tangible improvement. And as a department, we will continue to monitor and provide technical and capacity building support where there are gaps. Whilst the department is continuously providing capacity to municipal officials and encouraging the institutionalization and implementation of performance management and development systems, consequence management, and especially as it relates to poor performance, the department is in the process of developing non-negotiable standard operating procedures for all municipalities of our province so that we can strengthen our capacity to oversight them. And these are going to indicate expected performance standards, the implication of consequences for poor performance, and the aim is for municipalities to adopt them and duly implement. The department is not legally empowered to dismiss a municipal employee because the appointing authority is the municipality itself. Section 154 of the Constitution empowers the department to support and also intervene in terms of No. 6. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Thank you
on corruption through our advocacy campaigns where we establish these anti-corruption units in municipalities. And we have conducted the sessions on anti-corruption, integrity management with all the 39 municipalities of our province. And one key topics of these rollout sessions in the advocacy, it is based on 4 pillars: prevention, detection, investigations, and resolution. During the local government anti-corruption strategy and municipal integrity management framework, the fraud prevention plans of the municipalities, they form part of our program, which include the fraud risk registers, verifying if there are policies in place. Under detection, the Municipal Development Finance section of COCTA ensures internal audit and risks of the municipality are active and have proper plans to audit high-risk areas identified. Additional to the internal audit, there's audit committee in the municipality that we ensure that it is established, and we're now actually going further to say who is actually part of the audit committee, because we want those relevant competencies so that people can do their work. Internal audit, MPEC, and these governance committees, we must ensure that they are placed to ensure the implementation of all these plans. And we also ensure that they've got proper audit charter, there's risk management policies, and all the procedures required for the functionality of these municipalities. Yes, Section 106 investigations are currently underway in the following municipalities: Amatole District Municipality, where we're investigating VIP toilets; Dr. Bayers Nodia, allegation of sabotage of infrastructure projects and financial misconduct on innate system; at Mbashe, allegations of unethical conduct by officials; and the other one investigation that is completed is for Matatiele LM which we have now completed that and we have sent a report for implementation. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Williams. Thank you, Honorable Vena. The 11th question from Honorable Odendaal to the MEC of Kokta, MEC Williams.
Yes, Odendaal. Okay. Send Buyela. Municipalities in the financial recovery plans are being monitored by both Provincial Treasury and Kokta on a monthly basis through monthly meetings where we evaluate progress, Honorable Speaker. And such report also goes to Provincial Cabinet for their consideration. Capacity building in municipalities on a range of financial issues is done through regular engagements on workshops by the province in conjunction with Treasury and SALGA. The department prepared an MFMA Section 131 report as required by the legislation and submitted to the provincial legislature with the hope that the House will formulate a legislative action on the matters raised in that report as they are not adequately addressed. However, the department is making a follow-up on municipalities through the assessment of municipal audit plans. I think I've done it, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Odendaal. Thank you. 12th question from Honorable Kobeshiane to the MEC of Kokta.
Hey. This question has been answered, Honorable Speaker, by the Premier. And I must just indicate, Honorable Speaker, that this is a repeat question. We have dealt with comprehensively in the past, where we had direct engagements with the municipality on their tariff structure. And at the point where we had to finalize the tariff structure, the municipality had other considerations, so we couldn't conclude that particular issue. And just one issue, Honorable Speaker, is in terms of budget processes of municipalities, residents in their own right must write formal objections to the municipality. And it is required in terms of the MFMA that a municipality council must then discuss the objections against the budget and respond effectively to all the residents of that particular municipality. And I think we must explore that right given through the municipal budget processes, Honorable Speaker, so that residents of Buffalo City can engage the municipality directly on these matters. And then once they do not get joy, they have a right to escalate such to National Treasury for National Treasury's intervention. And also National Treasury would bog them down to resolving those problems. If not, their budget can also not be approved just on the basis of the power that residents have. I would want to really share that with those that come from that city so that we can resolve this matter once and for all. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. 13th question from Honorable Fishlani to the MEC for Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism. MEC Peters.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Good morning to you. Good morning to the Honorable Premier and all the honorable members of this august House and the visitors and HODs that are here. On the question that has been asked by Honorable Fishlani, we have IGR and DTM platforms that we are using to address this matter, and also a special DMAFO that was chaired by Honorable Ngondwana, Executive Mayor of OR Tambo, where mayors decided that they will also have a meeting that will deal with the escalation of crime in the area. And also during the visit of the minister in the area on the 15th of August, a call was made for an intervention of the IPID and also SABS, as well as other stakeholders that were requested for deployment, and also police officers in OR Tambo, as we know now that there are police officers that are deployed in OR Tambo by the minister to deal with the matter. And also this has extended to land grabbing and properties in OR Tambo, and they are dealing with that. And also there are various platforms that have been put in place for reporting the crimes, just like the crime reporting WhatsApp group, and also the IGR and DDM Economic Development Work Stream have discussed the matter and suggested that the matter should be led by the DMAFO of OR Tambo. And also SAPS and other law enforcement agencies have come on board to put an end on the extortion activities in OR Tambo. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable MEC. 14th question from Honourable Khune, also to the MEC of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism.
Question asked by Honourable Khune. We have two SEZs in the province, Kucha and East London IDZ. Coming to Kucha SEZ, the investment value is 620 million. And also we will remain, investment attraction will remain one of our strategic priorities as Kucha SEZ. And on the jobs, number two, on the jobs that have been created under construction, 4,132 jobs have been created, and 2,148 it's young people, 495 it's women. And also on operational jobs that were created, that is 10,154, 5,483 it's young people, 4,975 it's women, and 396 it's people living with disabilities. Coming to East London IDZ, the value of the investment that has been secured is 500 million. And we, as the institution, have scanned the environment and have noted several challenges and have employed the following tactics to increase the number of investors that the SEZ could attract in a year, by intensifying investment promotion efforts, and also by responsiveness to energy security crisis and development of local manufacturing capacity and support of entry-level industrialists, and also strong enterprise system to build resilient business. And the jobs that have been created, it's 5,205. Out of 5,205 jobs, 1,668 it's women, and 2,189 it's young people, and 37 people living with disabilities. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable MEC. The Honourable members giving a nod. Honourable members, that concludes the questions to the executive on the question paper. As you can see, we've only done 14 questions, and that is over the 1 hour already allocated. I think clearly it tells us that we need to relook on how we, the parameters of setting out how questions are supposed to be posed, so that we can actually get traction and cover all of them within the hour or hour and a half that can be allocated. Honourable members, we will now ask the Secretary to read the first order of the day.
Consideration of vote number 7, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Appropriation Bill 2024.
May I call upon Honourable Konza? Oh, there is Honourable Konza. Your 10 minutes starts now, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. To the Honourable Premier, the Executive, the Honourable Chief Whip, and Honourable Members, our Honourable guests and those that are listening to us from different platforms, good morning. I'm here to present Vote 7, Honourable Speaker. I will, with your permission, considering that the report has been circulated, I will take a few findings and a few recommendations in view of time. In Programme 1, I will go straight to finding A, that 88% of the department's budget goes to COE, which includes the compensation of traditional leaders, which is far above the expectable norm. B, the organogram of the department is currently under review and is still in the draft phase. C, the intergovernmental relations in the province are at a very weakest point, especially at the local government level, and at many instances, IGR forums are attended by junior officials with no authority. Recommendations: A, the department must engage with the National Department, Provincial Treasury, and the Office of the Premier to find ways in which the remuneration of traditional leaders may be properly classified and categorized in order to offload its payroll. B, the department must speed up the completion of the organogram and must ensure that the organogram responds to the mandate of the department. C, IGR must be strengthened by the department, with the department working with the Office of the Premier, and must enhance IGR platforms, and focus must be placed on ensuring that senior officials with authority attend these platforms at all times. In Programme 2, I'm going to take finding A. The department has introduced the non-negotiables booklet and the signing of performance agreements between the executive mayors and the Office of the MEC. And then I'll go to D. The support provided to municipalities on record keeping does not seem to yield the intended results, as most municipalities still have poor records and are using manual document management systems. All this negatively affects their audit outcomes. Then the recommendations: A, the department must submit an implementation plan of the non-negotiables containing the legislative and empowering provisions, as the Portfolio Committee is of the view that the signing of performance agreements will enhance accountability. D, the department must identify and assist those municipalities to migrate their records management system to an electronic records management system. Moving straight to Programme 3, findings: A, the department is unable to coordinate and efficiently manage disasters, as it is currently faced with infrastructure backlogs arising from the previous disasters. B, the district municipalities do not have disaster response plans, despite the fact that the province is prone to disasters. C, there is a serious inadequate provision for repairs and maintenance of infrastructure assets by the municipalities, even though they are allowed to set aside 10% of the municipal infrastructure grant for repairs and maintenance of their infrastructure. On recommendations: A, the department must urgently attend to victims of the previous disasters and must also ensure that in future compensation happens closer to the occurrence of the disaster. B, the department must assist the district municipalities to develop disaster response plans to mitigate the damage of the effects of potential disasters, so as to save lives of both human beings and livestock. C, the department must ensure that the municipalities sufficiently make provisions in their budgets for repairs and maintenance of built assets by tapping into the 10% provided for in the MIC. Then we go to Programme 4, which deals with traditional leadership management or traditional institutional management. A, the province is still experiencing death of initiates despite the efforts put by the department and various stakeholders to curb initiate debts through having introduced legislative governing customary mail initiation. B, the department will provide capacity building to 15 traditional leaders throughout the province through the provision of bursaries to pursue studies in public management and law. There is, however, only 5 female traditional leaders to participate in this program. Recommendations. A, the department must bolster its efforts to curb initiate deaths by ensuring a zero-death target is achieved. This can be achieved through the involvement of all relevant stakeholders, by the enforcement of the current legislation in cases of non-compliance, and by ensuring that all identified loopholes or gaps are attended to in the customary mail initiation amendment bill. B, the approach of the department to provide bursaries to 15 traditional leaders is applauded. However, the department must conduct awareness sessions and encourage female traditional leaders to apply for bursaries to ensure that they are capacitated to execute their duties efficiently. This recommendation comes from the explanation that we got from the department when we were asking as to why only 5 females were amongst the bursary applicants. And then the response was that traditional leaders that are females are not applying for the bursaries. So hence this awareness proposal for them to be made to apply. Then in Program 5, which deals with the House of Traditional Leaders, finding A, the department will conduct research which will result in the compilation of genealogies, which is aimed at resolving traditional leadership claims and disputes. B, the Traditional Courts Bill, which the traditional leaders have been waiting for, has now been signed into law. Recommendations. The research to be conducted, that is A, the research to be conducted by the department, which will result in the compilation of genealogies aimed at resolving traditional leadership claims and disputes, is appreciated. However, the department must ensure that
Honourable
this
Member,
research...
you have 2 minutes remaining.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. However, the department must ensure that this research will also include the history of kingships in the province. So we even said, MEC, in this matter through you, Speaker, that the involvement, therefore, of the Department of Arts and Culture would also, partnering with them, would also assist in this program. B, the department must work hand in hand with the Department of Justice to ensure that traditional leaders are trained to preside over the cases that are referred to the traditional courts. General findings. I'll go straight to the recommendations. A, the department must submit a turnaround plan that will ensure that targets in the annual performance plan are realistic and follow a logical order, and that a plan must be provided to the committee on how this will be achieved. B, the department must in future set output indicators which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound to enable the committee to measure its performance and impact. This is also to address the above recommendation. Honourable Speaker, we want to thank the department and the officials that were involved in the compilation of this report. We therefore table this report for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Konsang. Clarities for the committee? None. Clarities for the MEC? None. Honourable Odendaal, your 9 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Good day to the Honourable Premier, Honourable MECs, and especially my friend, the Honourable Williams. Speaker, during the previous term, the Honourable Premier said, and I quote, "Our vision is to partner with big retail companies to build distribution centres across our districts in the province, prioritising especially small towns. I'm making a special appeal to traditional leaders and municipalities to avail land to private investors for economic development for the benefit of our people." Honourable Speaker, from the Premier's lips to God's ears, We need to do everything in our ability to attract investment to our province. Making land available to investors at a favourable price or even free of charge and coupling it with rates incentives is a brilliant way of getting investors interested in our province. However, such incentives alone won't attract investments. You see, Speaker, unfortunately, no investor will invest in a municipality with broken infrastructure where there are continuous water and electricity disruptions. Look at Makanda over the last couple of weeks. No business can survive under such conditions. Broken infrastructure is the Achilles heel of our municipalities and will continue to act as a barrier to investment until such time as municipalities start accelerating their spending on maintenance and repairs in line with the guidelines from National Treasury. If we fix the infrastructure at the local government level, it would be far easier to attract investment. Speaker, I want to commend the fact that there was a slight improvement in audit opinions for Eastern Cape municipalities. That said, although progress has been made, capacity to implement financial recovery and audit plans is sadly lacking at many of our municipalities. The department, in conjunction with Treasury, should therefore double down on our efforts of support so that we can return good governance to these delinquent municipalities. Let me remind this House, Speaker, that only 4 Eastern Cape municipalities received clean audits in the financial year 2022-2023, whilst 13 municipalities received a qualified audit opinion. In this regard, I also want to remind the House that after 12 years, it was the DA-led coalition in Nelson Mandela Bay that could achieve an unqualified audit opinion in Nelson Mandela Bay in the previous financial year. Think of that when you drink a Johnny Walker 12-year-old black label. Hey, in this regard, I want to just say, Honourable Speaker, that one of our biggest concerns should be the financial sustainability of our municipalities. But why do we have so many unfunded municipalities? Unfortunately, our municipalities are, 1, not collecting their debt owed to them, 2, wasting financial resources and not getting value for money for goods and services procured, and thirdly, most of their electricity departments are losing money hand over fist. It is against this backdrop that I want to sensitize the Honourable MEC Williams to the need to ensure that we have turnaround plans in place for our electricity departments. Both Buffalo City and Nelson Mandela Bay, the 2 biggest electricity distributors in the province, are running at a financial loss. In Nelson Mandela Bay alone, the city is expecting a 1.4 billion rand loss in the upcoming financial year. But instead of making sure that these municipalities clean up their house and deal with their inefficiencies, they are passing the buck to the public, expecting residents to pay more so that they can continue to keep their ineffective and bankrupt electricity departments afloat. And that is why what is currently happening in Buffalo City, and it's backfiring on the municipality. It would be remiss of me not to mention the fact that the political instability in Nelson Mandela Bay is sabotaging the progress that can be made in this province. Last financial year, National Treasury clawed back an amount of 450 million rand because of an inability of the city to spend its budget. Even after the 450 million rand was taken back, the city still only managed to spend 65% of its total budget and now runs the risk of even forfeiting more hundreds of millions of rands. And that is because of National Treasury's stance of use it or lose it. If Nelson Mandela Bay spent all of its conditional grant funding on infrastructure development, instead of forfeiting it to other municipalities, and may I add mostly DA municipalities, that knows how to spend budgets, this province will not be the only one in a technical recession. But Speaker, is it any wonder that chaos reigns in Nelson Mandela Bay as there are no less than 7 of the 9 senior director positions vacant? I've checked with all the other metros in the country, and Nelson Mandela Bay is the only one that have got basically all of them vacant. Premier, we must sort out the mess in Nelson Mandela Bay, a city that is responsible for contributing 45% of the GDP to this province cannot be allowed to go to rack and ruin. Speaker, the collapsing state of municipal infrastructure is no more evident than in our water and sanitation infrastructure. In 2014, 39 water systems in our province received a good score in the Blue Drop report. Compare this to last year's report that indicated that there were now just 6 out of 154 water supply systems that achieved a good Blue Drop score. There were none that received an excellent score, but 27 systems are in a critical state. Sanitation infrastructure fared little better. In the latest Green Drop report, it's Green Drop, not Long Drop, Green Drop report of 2022, there were 48 wastewater treatment plants that were in a critical state compared to 54 in 2013. The provincial risk ratio for treatment plants regressed during this period from a medium risk to a high risk. The contamination of our natural water courses by sewage and effluent is an unfolding natural disaster that continues to undermine the potential of our agricultural industry in the province. Water resources contaminated by E. coli is extremely dangerous to not only humans and livestock, but it also destroys crops. Madam Speaker, our local government needs to be more proactive, like the DA-led Koga municipality that has invested.
You just have 2 minutes remaining.
There we go, I'm landing, Speaker. Like the DA-led Koga municipality that has invested a total of 42.36 million rand in upgrading the KwaNomzamo wastewater treatment works outside Humansdorp. If we want to improve service delivery in the province, we need to be proactive in addressing all of our infrastructure challenges. I want to remind the House that in my response to SOPA, I said that there were 8 things that need to be done in order to fix local government. I'm going to mention them again. 1, stop the practice of deploying incompetent cadres to senior management positions. 2, fix billing systems. 3, fix supply chain systems. 4, assist municipalities in finding alternative revenue streams. 5, improve project management systems. 6, increase spending on maintenance in line with Treasury requirements. 7, speedily intervene in terms of Section 154 support where needed. And thank you to the MEC Williams because he's just done it in Makanda. And 8, making bankrupt electricity departments profitable again. Speaker, the DA will support vote 7. The DA has also indicated that in this 7th term of office, we believe in a collaborative approach to work together in building South Africa. We want to ensure the MEC Williams that we will do whatever it takes to make sure that our municipalities are rebuilt. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call for the EFF, Honourable Kotoi. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Enkosi, Honourable Speaker, dibulise kumalungu endlowiso mthetho yase Eastern Cape, dibulise kubantwana bethongo ndithi kubo Camagu. The EFF rejects the budget vote based on the following grounds. It is noted that 88% of the budget goes towards the compensation of employees, and that is much higher than the expected or average norm. In a worst-case scenario, the total cost of COE should be between 60% and 65%. The fact that the department 88% goes towards budget, it is a serious concern and it needs urgent attention if the department is to function optimally and efficiently. Honourable Speaker, it is of great concern that the intergovernmental relations is at its weakest at the local government level, and that is not accorded the respect it deserves, as evidenced by the fact that junior employees who do not have an authority are sent to IGR forums. It must be noted that the notion of intergovernmental relations is a constitutional imperative which is given effect 2 by the Intergovernmental Framework Act of 2005, which provides mechanism that the department, together with the Office of the Premier, must follow in order to ensure effective governance in the province. In its annual report of 2022-2023, page 82, the department indicated that it had developed a binding implementation protocol aimed at committing various state organs in the province to commit, Honorable Speaker, pardon the pen, to IGR processes and implement IGR resolutions of IGR forums in the province. The protocol would have been signed by officials who have the necessary authority, and this includes executive mayors, MECs, Chief Executive Officer of the state-owned entities, municipal manager, and heads of departments. The report noted that the process of signing the implementation protocol will be concluded between April and June 2024. In view of the fact that we are now in September, the question that needs to be asked is whether the implementation protocol was indeed signed by June 2024, as envisaged, and if so, who are the parties that are acting in breach of the very implementation protocol that they themselves signed? If implementation protocol has not been signed,
Honourable Member, you have 2
the
minutes
following
remaining.
arise. What timelines are in place to ensure that the protocol is signed by all members? Honourable Speaker, the issue of destruction of municipal infrastructure and theft vandalism, the destruction of the municipal infrastructure theft and vandalism province paints a very disturbing picture. For instance, a Buffalo City municipality, July 2022, had to use 13.2 million to deal with the theft and destruction of water and sanitation infrastructure. Daily Dispatch edition on 19 July 2024, it was reported that the cost has sorted to 77 million. The King Sabata district municipality had to use approximately 20 million to deal with this challenge. Honourable Speaker, a society is judged by the extent to which it looks after the intakes of the poor. As EFF, we unashamedly stand with the poor and the indigents. If some municipalities do not have proper registers for the indigent, it means that of the people who are supposed to be received assistance in terms of being provided with services like electricity and other related services are losing out. What measures will be put in place by the relevant accounting officer in the municipalities to address this? Section 39 of the Disaster Management Act, number 57 of 2002, provides that a province must have a disaster management plan. Section 2 of the Disaster Management Act requires a district municipality establish a disaster management framework. Section 43 of the same act requires the district municipalities and local municipalities also to establish the management sectors. The department must put concrete plans in place and provide timelines after which all district municipalities will have a proper plan to deal with disasters. Honourable Speaker, the department must intend to account that criminal courts have a huge workload and results in cases that take too long to be heard, even finalized. This translates into unfortunate situation of justice delayed, amounting to justice denied. Equipping traditional leaders with the necessary skills and training will enable them to deal with cases over which they have jurisdiction, will ensure that the justice system is served.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. From the UDM, Honourable Mkocho, if I'm pronouncing that correctly? Mkocho, yes, it. Your 3 minutes starts now. I won't call you out because it's only 3 minutes. But when I say stop, you will stop. Thank you, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to you and all the honourable members of the House. As UDM, Honourable Speaker, we welcome the report. we note that the issue of the organogram from the department. We are of a view that the department's organogram that is under review and on the draft phase is an indication that the department is operating without having its systems in order, with no structure that has got defined activities to enable supervision and coordination of the work. That also poses a challenge as to how the department is going to achieve its targets, as it is not structured in a manner that is required by law and for effectiveness and for effective performance management. The problem of IGR not functioning very well in the provincial space is a denial of department's cooperation, coordination of the work, and recognition of relationships amongst the various units and sectors within the spheres of government. If in the IGR department, the department sends junior officials who cannot take decisions, that automatically impact negatively and affect the effectiveness and the efficiency of the municipalities. Therefore, the department should further find ways and means for the effectiveness of the IGR to work so as for service delivery not to be compromised. Again, the department must advise the municipalities to improve on reporting using e-structures and the way of monitoring and practical implementation of such plan to be developed. LED in municipalities should be a priority because it has a potential to change the socio-economic conditions of our communities, and also could be a way of reducing unemployment and poverty. The challenge of municipalities that are dependent on the grants is still a problem that needs attention, as it makes the situation difficult for communities to develop in terms of the economic growth. The issue of the traditional leaders as administered within the department, but there is still a problem because there is still a challenge of not being able to define their roles and make them to account in terms of their responsibilities. The failure, Honourable Speaker, to fill the vacant positions or posts for CTWs result in ward plans not being developed, and that has a bearing on the service delivery and dissemination of information, which needs to be attended. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. From the PA, Honourable Buya, your 3 minutes starts now.
Let me first greet you, Honourable Speaker Molo, Honourable Premier, to the House at large. Honourable Speaker, I am here to welcome the report. As the report is speaking to the people on the ground, we are standing firm that on Program 3, on a disaster point issues, which is we are facing on the ground when the storms are there, it speaks to us. It means the department needs to have a clear plan on how to deal or more programs to educate people, because what we notice, people are suffering from same disasters activities each and every time when there is disaster. That means the department must strengthen their programs on educating people how to manage when the disaster comes, because calling out for the municipalities, it takes a time, and yet the people are suffering on the ground. Let me quickly go to program 4 on the budget. It speaks to the traditional leaders. Iti mabaye bephila babuye bephila. Honourable Speaker, ibhlungu ke into somntana ehlathini ungenathemba lento buzobuya okanye akazobuya. Kuyafuna ke into kuba ke isandla siqine, Honourable Premier. You said this on the opening of this house in Tabangulu. So it is a big challenge. Abazali abalali buthongo buhlayo. Ke ngokuthina ke abantu abangotata sithi aba babethwayo ngeswazi ngomama. because loo nto ithi thina sikhathali ebantwaneni. Thina senela nje ukuthumela abantwana ehlathini kube kanti kuphelele apha. Ndiyacinga ke, Honorable Speaker, Napa, there is more of educational programs that needs to be conducted at local level, which means the communities must have programs whereby educate abantwana. Abantwana must be made prepared to go to Entabeni. Entabeni is not a plaything. Let me go quickly to program 5, Honorable Speaker, which speaks to traditional leaders. On the research of the researcher of the genealogies, okanye imvelaphi okanye iminombo. Ndingavuya ke if on that research the Khoi and the San will not be excluded. Nabo bakhangelwe, because nabo ngabantu abakhoyo kule province sikuyo, and their language is also in a line to be acknowledged and to be added on the languages of the province. So the plea is, when the researcher is doing his duties on that research, he must also check the research of the Khoi and the San. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Call upon Honorable May. Okay. Thank you, Honorable May, for giving us that extra 3 minutes. From the ATM, Honorable Mampofu. Honorable Mampofu, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker. My Honorable Premier, all the stakeholders that are here today, because of this short period that I've given, let me say all protocols are just observed. On behalf of ATM, I'd like to welcome all these reports. But there's one thing that I need to share with you on behalf of what we intend in rectifying what is the problem that we are facing in our country. Many people don't understand that these issues that we are faced with were well orchestrated and planned hundreds of years ago. So for us to be able to conquer, we need to have recollected minds in whatever that we are doing. As ATM, we are willing to support any good thing that is intended to be done by whoever. Because what is important here is not what is intended to divide us. It's us to be united so that we are able to execute what we need to do in order for our country to sustain. I'm stating this as I've stated even before. Here in South Africa, the system that we are engaged on, if we are not serious about doing what we call introspection, do we have really the mind to build the nation, or we are just excited about power? The power that cannot do service to people is as good as useless. So we are pleading to every leaders here present, even this august house. Let us be recollected. Let us not use pejorative notations that will destroy our humanity. Because without humanity, there is nothing that we can do. We are facing, I said last time, I was sympathizing with our MEC, Ngate, for what is happening, because he's responsible for all these things that we see.
Honourable Member, your 3 minutes.
As I heard him responding of what is happening.
Your 3 minutes are up. Honourable Member, your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, it's up.
Yes, it's up. Thank you so much, Honourable Member.
Thank you.
Thank you. From the ANC, Honourable Khune, your 14 minutes starts now.
Honourable Speaker,
Chief Whip of the Majority Party, honorable members, Premier and the members of Executive Council, various senior administrators and the guests. Honorable Speaker, being my first debate in this August House, I was looking forward to a robust debates and alternative policy choices, particularly from members who came here and declared that they are not supporting the budget votes. However, it became clearer and clearer that it was as foretold by Macbeth since time immemorial. I open quote, a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing. I close quote. Therefore, Speaker, the question that we must ask, particularly from those who say they are representing the poor, is how is the Revolutionary Act to refuse to adopt a budget in September that has been spent since April? That this is a betrayal to the kids who must be denied to go to school, who must not receive meals, who must not get learner support material, because there will be no budget to be spent if today or tomorrow the budget is not adopted. That is not by any means a sense of representing the people, but the utmost betrayal to whom they profess to represent. Honorable Speaker, if I was to raise this bottle of water and ask how much water is in it, ironically, from those on my right, the bottle will be half full. But for those on my left, which is ironically, the bottle will be half empty. There, Speaker, lies the characterization and the philosophy on how we view development in any society. Because in our municipalities, they were segregated along the racial lines. They were separated against the large blacks whom are majority in this country, whom are denied development. And that those who have always been a beneficiary of the system are hell-bent to maintain these fault lines. And that's why, therefore, Honorable Speaker, we must seek to transform what has been obtaining in this country. The poverty trends report that in this country, on an annual basis, white-headed household spend 350,937. Their income on average is at about 450,000. This is 5 times more higher than black-headed households whom only spend 67,828 of income, of expenditure against the income of 92,983. This is also 3 times above the national average. And therefore, Speaker, when people come and stand here and say government must be lean and mean, must not interfere with socio-economic affairs of society, that must be at the hands of the private sector, that is disingenuous, because at the core of that is to sustain their privilege that they have in this society. Just to reflect, Speaker, and demonstrate the progress that the African National Congress has continued to make, is that if we were to measure using the South African Multidimensional Poverty Index, with a huge assumption that a majority of members on my left can comprehend of what that is. Out of its elements, I will pick only one, and that reflects to the economic activity. In this country, that reflects into the economic activity and just the living standards of people that have been improved in this country, particularly where they reside, which is in the municipalities. Just on 1994 to date, South Africa has created 13.7 million of people who have received one or other form of a housing subsidy in this country. That is unprecedented globally. No other country in the world has been able to do that. To date, over 80% of households have access to electricity, piped water, and sanitation. Almost as in 2023, almost 2/3 of South African households have access to flush toilets, while 83.3% had access to improved sanitation. Less than 1% had no access to sanitation facilities.
In 1994, only 36% of population had access to electricity, and now 8 out of 10 is having access to electricity. Here in the province of the Eastern Cape, to demonstrate the low base we emerge from, Eastern Cape is the best performing province regarding an improved sanitation access, from 33.3% to now 90%. Out of all metros, the best performed metros on the improved sanitation is where we are in Buffalo City, which now is at 97.8, and it had performed better than any other metro in this country. And when, Speaker, people say that our province is undergoing technical recession, that is a blue lie. The figures as released by Stats SA for the Q2 of 2024 demonstrate that our province has grown, demonstrate that our province has created jobs, and our province is not in any under recession. Those are news of last year. Honorable Speaker, when we speak of the fact that on electricity, the access has increased, when we say our people will now have, as we've demonstrated in countrywide and also in the province, that 8 out of 10 have now access to one form or another of electricity. We now have a situation that for months now, ESCOM has stabilized. And the point we would want to emphasize is that the conditions of majority of the people whom were denied a better life under this leadership and the government of ANC, much has been improved. But again, I've said, the philosophical outlook mean what is done for majority of these people who are Africans and black, it is wrong, it is not recognized, it is half empty. Honorable Speaker, audit outcomes are very important and the progress in that regard is much more commendable. However, it is important that we must now gravitate to use the logic model of theory of change, where the outcomes that we report and the targets that we set are the targets that are much more at outcome at an impact level, and not report only at an output, so that these audit outcomes are also felt by our people on the ground. The audit outcomes that were presented by the Auditor General 2023 indicated that the most notable improvements were in KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and Northwest. And where there was regression was in Gauteng and the Little Europe in the Western Cape. Honorable Speaker, we must therefore commend the municipalities that had continued to demonstrate progress in our own province. And that means the Numa local municipality, which is a small municipality led by ANC, it had a disclaimer only 5 years ago, and now it has a clean audit. The municipality that have continued to receive a clean audit in Jogabi, in Winnie-Madikizela Mandela, as such must be commended. The municipality that have demonstrated progress in OR Tambo, Dr. Besno Dia in Tsigaye, Tuntabankulu, that they have now progressed from qualified to unqualified. That is a commendable progress, and the department itself have continued on this trajectory. The DDM must be implemented in full. And in this regard, we of a view as an ANC that one budget, one plan, one district cannot only be a matter of a COGTA. It should be that both horizontal and vertical, all of our national departments, all of our provincial departments, their footprint is found in the IDPs of our own districts. When we go there, we must be knowing each and every contribution that will be made. Honorable Speaker, again, you must commend the Department for introduction of the risk adjustment strategy, which have ensured now that by 2024 June, 98% of the municipal infrastructure grant is actually spent, which equate to about 3.3 billion. That shows that the days where the monies of this province are returned to the national fiscus, such is over. And therefore, this province is at a trajectory to ensure that all the constitutional grants that is held are spent accordingly. Honorable Speaker, at the core of how the ANC ensures that there is administration in municipalities that is capable, that is qualified, that is experienced, that is competent, those are people that get to be employed as administrators in our various municipalities. The bandit about vulgarized deployment policy in this instance, where people are said that because you are black, you must be suspected that you are not competent, you are not experienced, you are not qualified. We will not in any day succumb to that blackmail. Honorable Speaker, again, we must make this admission that the extent to which the department has invested on traditional leadership, it is highly commended. And that's why when the reference is made to bursaries that are issued, that will go a long way to improve the capabilities and the expertise of our traditional leaders. Therefore, the program, Yokwakama Potwe, and improve the conditions of our traditional leaders, it is much commendable. In that regard, Chair, we must also commend the implementation of the Traditional and the Khoisan Leadership Act, which recognized that the indigenous people of this country, which are Khoi and the San, they too deserve to have their own traditional leadership in their communities, and the process to recognize that must indeed be expedited.
Honourable Member, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Thank you. On the male initiation, we think, Honourable Speaker, that we can't continue to have a situation that season in and season out, we lose healthy males who undergo a traditional practice that should not be killing anyone. And therefore, we urge our communities, the families, to be at the center of ensuring that their children do go this ritual and come back alive. And when we say families, we are not speaking of a Eurocentric family, of your biological mother and your biological father. We speak of the family as we know it in our African setup. There is no child that does not have a father, that does not have a mother. That is an illusion of those who have two passports. And in that regard, Honourable Speaker, as the African National Congress, we support the budget. We also commend that the budget presented by COGTA will go a long way to support the local government, support the traditional affairs, support the disaster management, and provide the much required capabilities that will require in the local sphere. And we can't again stand here in September for a budget that was spent from April and say deny people services because we represent them. That is a counter-revolutionary act that our people must continue to dismiss. Your revolutionary act, it is clear now, it is not how you wear. It is the substance of what you represent. No gumboots represent the working class and the poor. I thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. Call upon Honourable Williams. Your 10 minutes starts now, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The Honourable Premier, Deputy Speaker, Chief Whip, and members of the Executive Council, and the members of the House. Our people in the gallery and in the social public platforms, greetings. This midday, I think, Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Member Kune has said much, such that I do not think the department needs to really derail the House from the focus of this impactful statement from the ANC. Less to say, Honourable Speaker, that my friend Honorable Odendal has talked about unqualified audit opinion in Nelson Mandela during the DA coalition. I think the weakness is that we seem to be celebrating suboptimal performance. In the current arrangement, Honorable Speaker, the Metro under the ANC coalition currently in these audit results that were announced by the Auditor General has actually achieved the same unqualified audit opinion. So it's something not very encouraging to raise that. And the challenge, Honorable Speaker, of initiate deaths. Kusweleka kwabakwetha. I think, Honorable Speaker, our province was a pioneer in actually developing legislation which was aimed at preventing further deaths of young men. And National followed from this pioneer, which is our province. But the critical question we need to be responding to, Honorable Speaker, is the impact of apartheid and colonialism and the depth of how that system destroyed the African and Black family unit. Because the various legislations that were aimed at taking away fathers from their family to work in the mines has actually distorted the African family. And that social pain is existent even today, Honorable Speaker, because initiate death is just a symptom of what a system did to the African family. Because many of our families are women-headed. And the tradition on its own requires males who have undergone the tradition to support the kids. And that system also introduced, Honorable Speaker, alcoholism to the African family. Because the rate of abuse of alcohol was when it was introduced systematically to further destroy the African family. And today, as this generation, we are reaping the fruits of what that system did to obliterate the family unit of African people. And I am saying, Honorable Speaker, therefore, as the Honorable Kune has said, we must make a clarion call to everyone in society to come together and ensure that traditional circumcision is practiced under legal conditions and kids are screened in order for us to be able to ensure a safe passage through traditional circumcision. On 88% of COEs, I think the report of the chairperson of the standing committee, of the portfolio committee, was very clear that we need to disaggregate traditional leaders from public sector employees in the department, because the conglomeration of both distorts who is appointed by which conditions of service. Traditional leaders are political office bearers. They can never be appointed or be regarded as public servants like our employees are. And that's an issue that we're engaging Treasury on to try and quickly resolve. Honorable Speaker, all municipalities currently are engaged in preparing for the current audit. However, we have committed ourselves that out of the 19, we want 50% to be pushed over the clean audit line as we go to this audit. Because we can't celebrate that our department has the fourth time succeeding to implement unqualified audit without any impurities, which means clean audit. We can't continue with that. We want that to be transferred and transcend to all the municipalities. My problem, Honorable Speaker, is the debt owed to municipalities by government departments. Honorable Premier, I'm very much concerned because the state of municipal finances is really constrained. And I would like to appeal to my colleagues that
Honourable Member, you have
the
2 minutes
local
remaining.
sphere of government cannot be allowed to struggle to pay salaries whilst government departments are owing. I would like us to take that seriously so that we can resolve. In his book, Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela says, I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way, but I've discovered the secret that climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can rest only for a moment, for with freedom come responsibilities. I dare not linger, for my long walk has not ended. As local government, our long walk has not ended. The AG has said, Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, there's a slight improvement, which is encouraging on audit results. We can only go forward towards improving the lives of our people. In conclusion, Chair, in the midst of the flurry of events in our everyday life vicissitudes, in our conduct and governance, we must not lose sight of the reality which was described by former President Nelson Mandela. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable MEC. Honourable members, I put the report. Any objections? Thank you. I will ask the Secretary to read the second order of the day.
Consideration of vote number 8, Rural Development and Agrarian Reform, Appropriation Bill 2024.
I call upon Honourable Dr. Bese. Your 10 minutes starts now, Honourable Doctor.
Greetings to you, Honourable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Honourable Premier of the Eastern Cape, the province in the East. Greetings to all the protocols that have already been established in this day, yes. Today I'm presenting a budget vote number 8 for rural development and agrarian reform. However, Dr. DA comprises of 8 programs. I'm not going to read the programs. Due to time constraints, the department has been allocated an amount of 2.5 billion as compared to the 2.4 billion in the last financial year. I will take 2 findings and 2 recommendations per program due to time constraints. Program 1, finding A, the department has not yet filled all its vacant posts, including critical management posts. The people occupying these management posts are acting, and this can cause management instability and inconsistency on accountability. B, the 2% employment equity on people with disabilities has been achieved. However, the office buildings are not user-friendly for such people. Recommendations. A, the department must within 30 days submit to the committee the list of all vacant posts and a detailed report on why these posts are not yet filled. B, the department must prioritize the revamping of its office buildings to be conducive and user-friendly for people with disabilities. Program 2, sustainable resource use and management. Finding A, the condition of the satellite offices and other departmental offices is very bad. Buildings are dilapidated, posing risk to the occupants. B, the department has decreased the set targets on the number of actual infrastructure projects to be established. Program 3, actual producer support and development. Finding A, the upskilling of the extension officers to have latest information is still lacking. There is B, there is a lack of monitoring in almost all the projects, and the department continues to allocate them budget, including projects that are not functional or dysfunctional. Recommendations. The department must prioritize the upskilling of the extension officers in this financial year. Partnership with institutions of higher learning to develop programs to upskill them and expand their capabilities is encouraged. B, the department must strengthen its monitoring on projects to ensure that funds are fully function. Program 4, veterinary services. Finding A, the dipping material is not sufficient provided in the coastal area. You will recall that, honorable members, we have got serious problem of ticks along the coast. They are so vulnerable. B, the department was found wanting during the outbreak of foot and mouth disease. The vaccine was less than the demand. I'm told that that vaccine, department ordered that vaccine from Botswana. Program 5, research and technology transfer services. Finding A, there are complaints about the poor service and inefficiency at Donor Research Institute. A result for soil testing that are being lost on the way. C, research was not proactive to provide early warnings to farmers and other departmental programs about the environmental disruption, like field fires, floods in National Mandela Metro. The infrastructure at Doni is dilapidated and some of the equipment is old and outdated. This condition limits the efficiency and the potential of this institution. Recommendations. The department must, within 30 days, provide the committee with the list of all research farms and laboratories and their status quo. Recommendation B, the department must submit to the committee a turnaround plan to address these challenges. Program 6, actual economic services. Finding A, there is a remarkable decline in the number of agribusiness supported with marketing services. This has dropped from 177 to 94 in this financial year. B, farmers in the rural areas are in dire need of financial support to develop in farming, but they are not knowledgeable about the land bank and blended finance support and the processes to be followed to access these fundings. Recommendations. The department must improve this and always ensure that setting of the targets is consistent with the budget allocation. B, the department must advise these farmers
about the financial institutions and arrange meetings in which they invite officials from these institutions to unpack the process in terms of getting funding. Program 7, Agriculture Education and Training. The impact of the monitoring and training programs to the growth and development of the farmers is questionable. B, there are infrastructure challenges at Fort Cox College, and this limits their capacity to admit many students, of which that problem must be addressed. Recommendations. The monitoring or mentoring and training programs must be accompanied with farmer support strategies. B, accelerating the process of transferring this college to the Department of Higher Education and Training must be addressed that challenge. Program 8, finding A, infighting, unrest, squabbles are evident, especially in the irrigation schemes and other high-impact projects, resulting to them being dysfunctional. This can be attributed to poor management and lack of social facilitation. The people out there are not familiar with the funding institutions or financial institutions and programs. The department continues, the 4.7 million allocated to the resuscitation of the five red hubs.
You have 2 minutes remaining.
Is not sufficient for the work of the red hubs. Recommendation A, the department must closely monitor these projects and make interventions to bring solutions to the encountered problems and strengthen its social facilitation. Furthermore, funding of all the projects must be accompanied by policy and regulation, and there must be accountability. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'm getting now to general recommendations. The department must improve on planning and ensure that the setting of the targets is reasonable, realistic, informed by prior research, and must be based on the previous trends. B, the department must provide the committee with this information. In conclusion, Honourable Speaker, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee would like to thank the Provincial Department of Rural Development, especially the Honourable MEC, the committee, entities, members and support staff for their cooperation and assistance during this consideration of the budget vote report. We as the Portfolio Committee in this 7th term, we are not going to play. We are prepared to work very hard in terms of addressing problems that are actually facing the department. However, I hereby table the report to be considered by the House. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you so much, Honourable Bese. Dr. Bese. Honourable members, are there any clarities for the committee? To the MEC? See none. Can we then call upon Honourable Miller? The DA, your 9 minutes will start. It will start now, Honourable.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier and members in the House. Today we discuss a budget that holds the key in unlocking the limitless budget of our rural areas. The Department of Rural Development is not just about farming. No, it's about developing the very roots of our province. The overall budget allocation of 2.584 billion for the 24-25 financial year represents an increase from last year, which we appreciate. But while this increase, we welcome it, we must ensure that these funds are used effectively and to the benefit of our rural communities and our farmers. Honourable Speaker, biosecurity remains a clear challenge for us as a province, especially our poultry and livestock subsectors, and we must tap in or make this a top priority. Our department, we request our department to make it a top priority for us. The recent outbreak of the foot and mouth disease pose significant risk to our local production and export potential. I urge the department to review the budget and allocation for vaccines and animal health. We as
the Eastern Cape, cannot claim to be supporting small-scale farmers if we cannot look after and take care of the safety of their animals. Honourable Speaker, in the Premier's highlighted several initiatives in the opening of the legislature recently, and he addressed, and in his address, and we must scrutinise and support certain initiatives which was tabled. And I want to highlight a couple and ask that those are incorporated in our budget. Namely, the enhancement of export market capabilities through upscaling the infrastructure like the abattoirs, feedlots and grain storage facilities is commendable. Thank you, Premier. The animal feed processing plant in the Nyandeni municipality is a step in the right direction, promoting or promising to improve the livestock quality and create 2,000 jobs. We as a Democratic Alliance will monitor this process, and we're looking forward to positive results. The establishment of a vet school at the University of Fort Hare is crucial, given that the Eastern Cape has the highest proportion of livestock. We fully support this initiative and urge the Department to allocate sufficient resources to make this a reality and to make it a success. Honourable Speaker, the new campus college in at Dapunkulu, that's my Afrikaans tongue twister there for me, focusing on agriculture, including cannabis production, meat production and dairy, is a positive step. We will monitor this 94 million investment and ensure that this also is a success. Then in the forestry sector, potential for job creation is promising. We support collaboration with the national government to develop 100,000 hectares of land for timber benefits. However, we must ensure that this is done sustainably and benefits local communities. While these initiatives show promise, the Democratic Alliance finds it difficult to fully support the budget in its current form, and that is why we want to provide certain initiatives and certain proposals from our side. Let us increase the budget allocation for vaccines and animal health. Let us develop a comprehensive plan to address infrastructure challenges, particularly the access to roads to our farms for our farmers and workers and local communities. Let us ensure that there's clean water supplied to them. Then, Honourable Speaker, conduct a thorough review of the Eastern Cape Rural Development Agency. The operation, we want to see value for money. We will monitor those newly appointments that's been made and the promises and commitments that's been recently made by the agency. Then prioritise the implementation of the key House resolutions that's been done from last year that's still not been implemented. The transfer of the Rural Development Coordination component to the Office of the Premier. Then implement a robust performance management system to ensure better alignment between budget allocation and target achievement. Then develop a targeted support program for our small-scale and emerging farmers, including access, market, technology and financial services. And this should include, Honourable Premier, the biosecurity and animal health. Then strengthening the role of our portfolio committee to overseeing the department's performance. And lastly, in this point, establish a regular meeting from our portfolio and that of the Agricultural Department to ensure that there's better coordination between the two. Drawing then inspiration from the successes of the DA-led government, in particular the Western Cape, I want to propose the following initiatives, and I want you to see that we can be included in the budget. Let us implement a provincial version of the Fruit Loop project, which uses images to improve water efficiency and crop production. Secondly, let's establish an agricultural partnership for youth development, offering bursaries, internships and leaderships to the rural youth and young children of the agri-workers. Thirdly, let's create a provincial agriculture and agro-processing master plan to drive economic growth and employment in this sector. Then, let's launch an Eastern Cape version of the integrated provincial accident system. Honourable Speaker, this is to improve the road safety for our farmers and our rural communities. And then lastly on this point, establish a provincial veterinary export certification office. This will assist with the export of animal products and supporting our farmers' access to international markets. Then, Honourable Speaker, the Fort Cox
we wish it's not Fort Knox. The Fort Cox College of Agriculture and Forestry stands as a beacon of hope for us as agricultural education in the Eastern Cape. With its rich history and commitment to practical, hands-on learning, the college plays a crucial role in developing skilled professionals for our agricultural sector. Its recent efforts to modernize the curriculum and forge partnerships with industry leaders are exciting developments, and thank you for that, Premier. But we believe that Fort Cox has the potential to become a centre of excellence in agricultural innovation, particularly in the areas such as sustainable farming practices and agri-tech. The Democratic Alliance supports initiatives like these to further enhance the college capabilities and to expand its reach for more aspiring farmers in our province. Then, Honourable Speaker, the Makwa
Honourable
Tea...
Member, you have 2 minutes remaining.
The Makwa Tea project, despite its historical challenges, represents a significant opportunity for rural development and job creation. But in it, we need more robust and innovative approaches urgently from the department to see that this project and plant works for us as an Eastern Cape. We need the department to step up, step in, be hands-on, and to ensure that this project works. It creates jobs for the economy, it creates jobs for us as a province. We cannot be one to sit back. We need to grow the economy on this point. In conclusion, Speaker, let us envision an Eastern Cape where our rural areas are not just surviving, but they are thriving. Our farmers, both small and large, are the backbone of our food security and vital contributors to our economy. Deur die uitdagings in ons landbousektor, in landelike gemeenskappe aan te spreek, kweek ons nie net gewasse nie, ons kweek hoop en voorspoed, mense, as bouers van 'n florerende provinsie. Kom ons verbind ons daarna toe om ons landelike gebiede op te bou, ons boere te ondersteun en om onbeperkte potensiaal van ons landbougrond te ontgin. Saam kan ons die saad van 'n voorspoedige toekoms vir almal in die Oos-Kaap saai. Let us commit to building our rural areas. Let us support our farmers. And Honourable Speaker, I want to end off. Let us grow together for the love of agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon Honourable Bedoza from the EFF. Honourable Member, your 5 minutes starts now.
Somlomo ndivumele ndithi nqanga nentsiba zayo. Honourable Speaker, let me just comment in passing on the former leader of student organization who suddenly led it to a complete collapse. SASCO under his leadership perished to a most irrelevant position. Hence we understand grandstanding and seeking relevance here. Nanamhlanje ayika recovery isasco ngenxa yesikhokhelo sakhe. Honourable Speaker, let me first start by saying that the mission of the Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform is to strive to create vibrant, equitable, sustainable communities and food security for all. This department is at the forefront in addressing poverty and ensuring food security for all, working with other stakeholders. Honourable Speaker, how do we achieve this when satellite offices are scrambling with dilapidated buildings, posing risk to their occupants? The very same space where critical work is meant to take place are collapsing before our eyes. Honourable Speaker, one of the most critical issues is that of acting senior managers and the CEO, who has been acting for 6 months now. The departments need to act accordingly and deal with this pandemic of acting that will lead to instability and lack of accountability. Honourable Speaker, what is so alarming here is that almost 59% of the department's total budget is allocated for compensation of employees. Despite these billions, the department still has 240 unfilled vacancies. Honourable Speaker, the danger of acting in this department has resulted in the lack of monitoring of projects. Hence, we have collapsed projects like Chabo Flora, dysfunctional red hubs, and Mantusini dairy milk. Millions of rands have been injected in this project, and they have gone to waste. Haike somlomo, ibe west yasemantosini. apho kwathuthwa nezo nkomo eziyi-7 by an individual person who now demands 6 million for their release. Kuselubala ke somlomo ukuba urhulumente ophetheyo akakhathali. As the EFF, we demand answers on what is going to happen ngeza nkomo. Akukho mntu angalala avuke ezibone enomhlambi wenkomo eziyi-70. Honorable Speaker, this budget is a shame. The department has decreased targets for agricultural infrastructure projects while failing to provide any projection on job creation or value chain benefits. Honorable Speaker, the land remains underutilized and there is no clear plan to drive communities towards productive agriculture in this budget, in this department. The department is failing in its duty to equip extension officers with the latest information. Without this crucial upskilling, how do we expect farmers to receive the support they need? The situation is even more dire when it comes to disease control and animal health. The coastal area have been left vulnerable to thick infection because of inadequate dipping material, and the department's response to the foot and mouth disease outbreak was catastrophic. Let's not forget the shameful state of research farms and laboratories. Infrastructure at Donor Research Institution is dilapidated, and outdated equipment limits the institution's ability to support farmers. This department, which should be at the cutting edge of agricultural research, cannot even provide timely results for soil testing. What is the use of having research institutions that cannot serve the people? Honorable Speaker, this department has also failed to uplift agribusiness. The number of agribusiness supported with marketing service has plummeted from 170 last year to a mere 94 this year. How can we claim to support economic development when the very lifeline of the business is being cut? The Eastern Cape Rural Development Agency continues to receive a significant portion of the budget, yet there is no value for money. In fighting unrest and mismanagement plague the key projects like irrigation scheme and high impact initiative, leading to dysfunction and collapse, and still this department has an audacity to transfer more funds to ECRDA without addressing systematic failure within the entity. The 47 million allocated for the red hubs grossly is insufficient, and the lack of clear plan on how this fund will be used is alarming. These hubs are supposed to drive rural development, yet they are unfunded and mismanaged. Honorable Speaker, this budget does not align with the department's own target, and there is no time frames or specifics on the area and municipalities that are supposed to benefit. This shows a blunder disregard for accountability.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon Honourable Zinti from the UDM. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the main objective of agriculture is to strive to create vibrant, equitable, sustainable rural communities and food security for all. The UDM supports capacitation of our farmers on how to manage the livestock and crop production, and also intensify the program of upskilling of the extension officers to have last information is of paramount importance for the changing world. Honourable Speaker, we saw sharing shades built around the province, and UDM commend that, but there is a budget decrease in infrastructure project, while the infrastructure is still a challenge. Concerning disasters, we need to have young people, especially unemployed graduates, to go to communities and educate them about disasters and how to deal with them as a community. I want to remind the members of this august House that agriculture is the key in this province to change the socio-economic conditions of our communities. But monitoring is very poor, if econa at all. Mandusini project, which started in 2014 and was funded with 43 million rands, now it's just a white elephant. The main purpose of that project was to benefit around 500 individual households under communal tenure. Abahlali ebekufanele uba bayafumana imisebenzi kula project bahleli phansi abafumana imisebenzi ngenxa ye-monitoring ne-oversight engenzekanga. Imagwa and majority enterprises would have contributed more in the economy of our province, but because there is this sickness monitoring engenziwayo. 28 tractors were donated to the farmers of OR Tambo district and were stored at Tsolo on the 28th of November 2023. Inguza Hill was allocated 3 tractors, but the farmers at Inguza didn't receive those tractors. Zathathwa ngabantu abazibiza ngokuba bazinkokheli ekuhlaleni. These are the results of poor oversight. Tata Mandela once said,
Honourable Member, your 3 minutes is up.
Tata,
your 3 minutes is up. Thank you.
You didn't notice me. You didn't notice me.
Thank you.
Thank you. The UDM welcomes the report.
Thank you. Yes, from the PA, Honourable Buya, your 3 minutes starts now. I really do apologize for the 3 minutes.
Engosi somlomo manphinde nibuye ndizibulisele ndamkele ireport. Honourable Speaker, xa kuthethwa nge-agriculture ne-land reform kuthethwa ngobutyebi belizwe, and apha ke kunyanzelekile ke into yokuba ibe yeyona nto siyinesa kakhulu ngoba ulwaphulo mthetho esijongene nalo lenziwa yindlala. Ngoku loo nto ke ngoku ithi xa kukho ii-programs kwii-reports ezinje kuyanyanzeleka into yokuba mazinikwe inkxaso kwenzela into yokuba zibheke ebantwini. On the report, Honourable Speaker, ku-program 1, ndiyayithanda ke injongo yabo. Into ezawufuneka ke yile nto yokuba kusetyenzwe ngoku, singacingi nje sibhale on paper, sibe segroundini sisebenzini siqiniseke into yoba ezi zinto ziyenzeka. Okunye kokusibethayo ke thina mafama amnyama, Honourable Speaker, yinto yokuba thina sifuya isiqwathi. Thina ke asinayo laa nto yento yokuba funeke sizihlabe, funeke sizidiphe, funeke sizithini. Thina ukuba sizithengile zapha zawombisa phaa zirayithi zizawukhula xa seyingaka ndiqomba hayi yimali ngoku mandoyithengisa. Yeyona nto ke isibethayo ke ibangela into yokuba singakwazi ungena kwi-value chain. Endizawucela ke kulo urhulumente ukhoyo ngoku isikolo sibe ngamandla kwindlela ekuzawukwazi ukukhompyuthwa ngayo kwimarket singabantu abamnyama, because ngaphandle kwezi programs zizawukwazi ukusikhompetishisa kwimarket sizawuhlala sisezantsi okanye sizawuhlala singekho kwi-value chain. Honourable Speaker, on program 8, ukuba le nto yokungafumaneki komhlaba ithatha ixesha, hayi loo nto ithi sisazawutsala nzima. Nabani na ke abasenemihlaba abanayo abangayisebenzisiyo, i-Eastern Cape ityebile ke in terms of umhlaba. Kodwa ke lo mhlaba wonke uproduce amatyholo angatyiwayo awasincedisi.
Honourable Member, your 3 minutes is up.
Thank you,
so
Honourable
much.
Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. From the ATM, Honourable Mampofu, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity again and greet everyone here present today. I'm very happy to stand here and have a submission towards this program that we are talking about today, because agriculture, I know, I don't even believe I know, is the only way that will rescue this country, especially the black community. If you are serious about what is being said in all these programs. We, as African Transformation Movement, we are really supportive of all the efforts, good efforts that are being done to restore what was taken out of our minds, that we can live without soil. Africans are the custodians of the soil. That must come back. This is the only program that you cannot rely on a desktop exercise. It needs someone who is going to engage himself and be truthful of what he or she is doing. Agriculture, I'm telling you, you will be my witness in no time. Listen, take for instance, from all the countries that have been suffering here in Africa, agriculture became a tool to rescue them. Even with the case with us in South Africa, if the minds of the people can be taken back to the soil, I'm telling you, it won't take time for things to change. This chaos that is taking place in our country, this crime and all these things that we are complaining about are because we have missed that point, that we let that space to be vacant. Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, allow me to remind this House that I even mentioned it last time, that without us recognizing that God-given entities like water, if we don't take care of how we harvest those water and make them to be useful to our soil, our poor citizens down there won't be able to execute all what is being planned here. We can have good strategies, but if there is no mind or political will that will influence the activation of that process, it will be useless to stand here. As African Transformation Movement, we are waiting for that period, and I believe it is not very far from now when we will see this thing happening. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon the ANC, Honourable Gaya. Your 14 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial, Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, Honourable Chief Whip of the ruling party, Deputy Speaker, Honourable Chair of Chairs, Tibulise wonke betuna umtu ongabe ukona under the sound of my voice. Honourable Speaker, I am deeply humbled by this opportunity afforded to me to table my debate speech for the Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform. Honourable Speaker, during the 30 years of democratic rule, we have witnessed a remarkable progress in various areas of our economic, social, and political spheres as part of nation building and development. This is despite the setbacks and false states that we have experienced as a province and the country. Underpinning all the above is the central role played by our forebears, the recent past and the current generation, in contributing to nation building and social cohesion. In recognition of this, we reiterate our support of the government programs aimed at recognizing the role of liberation struggle in the creation of the South Africa that we are now enjoying and living in. We applaud the government efforts directed at paying homage to individuals and events through the creation of the National Liberation Route in the province. The continued building and preservation of museums, monuments, and memorials will go a long way in preserving our collective legacy. We so believe, Honourable Speaker. The African National Congress encourages the government to forge ahead its community outreach programs with a view to promote and conserve collective liberation, heritage, and struggle. This becomes important as we are in the month of September and as a country that celebrates its heritage. The collaborations with schools, museums, and strategic partners by the department concerned, Mamungongo, is noted and it is highly valued. As the saying goes, a nation that does not value its past doesn't deserve its future. True to these time-honored tidings, we shall not falter as the African National Congress. The African National Congress also acknowledges the invaluable contribution of the ocean's economy to our gross domestic product as a country and the province. Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress supports government and private individuals and or entities' attempts aimed at harnessing the ocean's economy resources for economic growth and social development. We are quite encouraged by the discovery of oil reserves in Namibian coast as reported by the media. We believe that this will bring in the much-needed economic boost to the Republic of Namibia with all its attendant spin-offs to the countries of the SADC region. We encourage all role players in this sector, particularly the environmentalists, to support projects directed at exploring offshore oil and gas potential of the province and the country. We further encourage them to refrain from acts of greed and or spite which delay progress in this area by years, if not decades. We are convinced that properly exploited, the ocean's economy is a hotbed for new economic growth areas. The marine transport development and the expansion of our ports remain firmly the African National Congress prime focus. We note the progress registered in the development of a new manganese export terminal at the port of Ngqura by Transnet and its partners. We cannot but continue to lament the potential negative effects that the transportation of manganese through our roads may have. This is something that the government and all role players must continue to be seized with a view to find a mutual and lasting solutions to the concern. The aquaculture as a branch of the agri-sector is an area that remains underdeveloped and less exploited. Hoping that Umabai is listening. Through the development of aquaculture, especially in the rural areas, further impetus would be put to the development of sustainable livelihoods for all. The areas of collaborations explored by the government will surely expedite the development of this segment of agriculture so that it may play its rightful role in the enhancement of our gross domestic product. Honorable Speaker, we need to revitalize and revolutionize agriculture in the Eastern Cape. This can be achieved through the enhancement of our export market capabilities by upscaling existing infrastructure, such as abattoirs, feedlots, and grain storage facilities. Honorable Speaker, the Premier mentioned in his opening address of the 7th administration last month that the national government had approved agriculture and agro-processing master plan to ignite economic growth, inclusivity, and employment in the agricultural sector. This will greatly assist young black farmers to ensure that there is a value chain development and they are not confined to subsistence or primary producer level, but rather drive the development of food products for domestic and international markets. Honorable Speaker, it remains imperative that the available land at our disposal is optimally used to scale up agricultural production. Our government is currently making strides in ensuring that the 100 farms that were acquired through the proactive land acquisition strategy are commercialized through the accumulation or grouping of suitable commodities, including grain, beef, wool, and vegetables. Honorable Speaker, it is worth noting that the Eastern Cape is the province with high proportion of livestock in South Africa. The quality alone of our animals and animal products depend on the health of livestock. That is why more investment is needed in establishing top-of-the-range vet schools. Honorable Speaker, another huge growth frontier for the people of the Eastern Cape in agriculture is cannabis and hemp sector. Investments are indeed flowing in, and we need to encourage more of those investments, not forgetting that government needs to be seen to be visible and not just offer support in terms of legislation, but also provide a necessary assistance that is required, especially funding young black farmers located in deep rural areas like Oqobong. The committee met with the Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform, and worth noting was that the non-alignment of set targets with the budget allocation is common in all programs. We therefore encourage the department to improve on planning and ensure that the setting of targets is reasonable, realistic, and informed by prior research and must be based on previous trends. The African National Congress welcomes the adoption of this report. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. We call upon the MEC for Dr. Da, Honourable Consiwe. Your 10 minutes starts now, Honourable MEC.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Good afternoon to you, the Honourable Members, and the Chairperson and the members of the Portfolio Committee, and those that have connected through our social media, and the officials that are here. Honourable Speaker, let me acknowledge and appreciate the opportunity given. I do want to say we really appreciate the advice and support as we unlock the Eastern Cape's agricultural potential as a food basket. The committee's findings are noted and will be addressed within the stipulated period. As the department, we note the matters raised by the Honourable Premier during the opening of the legislature, and our commitment. We also reiterate the words of the Premier, and I quote when he said, I quote, "Black farmers are not confined to subsistence farming or primary production level, but rather drive the development of food products for domestic and international markets." Close quote. It is then that we committed ourselves in the 7th administration that will drive food security and tackle the high cost of living by providing all our support towards the provincial food and nutrition security plan. We have committed to establish rural food hubs that will enable subsistence and home-based vegetable producers to collect, restore, and process their produce for the local markets, such as the government nutrition programs. We will contribute to the jobs plan by putting land reform farms into production for agro-processing and exports. It is where we stated that we will target 100 farms that were classified as commercially viable in various agricultural sectors, such as citrus in Amatole and Sarapatman, deciduous in Sarapatman, wool and beef across the province, and grain in OR Tambo, Alfred Nzojo, Gabi, Krisani, and Amatole. To realize this commitment, we will partner with other sector departments to facilitate private sector investment by securing water rights for irrigation, obtaining environmental authorization, acquiring title deeds, and securing long-term land use rights. Furthermore, we will seek to realize the missed opportunity of communal areas. Hence, we'll drive the aggregation of communal land parcels into commercial units for improved production and agro-processing. It is our dedication to support communal farmers to identify, assess potential, conduct free soil tests, package, develop production and resource plans, and will initiate partnership with local communal farmers, with Department of COCTA and the traditional authorities, municipalities, and potential investors targeting grain, livestock, and high-value crops. The Honourable Premier has given a directive that we must support government efforts on agriculture commercialization to ensure food security. Hence, our commitments as the department is to drive the following initiatives: getting irrigation schemes back to production by soliciting investment across the board, of which our focus at this stage is with a budget facility for infrastructure, which we are driving in partnership with Office of the Premier, Provincial Treasury, National Treasury, and World Bank. Aggressively drive our agricultural finance schemes, such as blended finance and revolving credit. Aggregating of red meat value chain with a focus on support to black farmers in establishing commercial feedlots through district clusters and beef aggregators to secure commercial scale at both production and processing. Biosecurity program to safeguard domestic and export markets, especially in the wake of outbreak of FMD disease, which has prompted us to develop a robust biosecurity plan that will be implemented in the province to protect farmers and the export industry. Also, cluster-based corridor for aggregation grains and value chain. Another initiative is cluster-based corridor for aggregated export-orientated horticulture crops value chains. We note the commitment to continuously monitor the cannabis industry, and it is the push of the department to integrate cannabis into the provincial economy. In this regard, we are actively involved in the National Cannabis Steering Committee to review existing legislation and promote local producers' participation in the cannabis value chain. We will continue to pursue the realization of the investment partnership with Medigrow SA to develop domestic and export markets for cannabis in the province. Dr. Da is committed to driving an inclusive economic growth and towards the realization of the Eastern Cape we want. On the organogram and vacant posts that are not filled or acting, that is in the department, the organogram of the department has just been approved by OTP and now is sent to DPSA, so adverts are going to be out soon. On Fort Cox, the engagements for it to fall under the institutions of higher learning are more in advanced stage. We are going to continue to engage the Minister for the Department of Higher Education in terms of them taking this, because what they did, they decided, when they got our application, they decided to take all agricultural colleges into making them the institutions of higher learning. So we're waiting for them to conclude on that matter, of which we think that it's very soon. On the stock theft, the department has established a system for identification, traceability, and livestock identification traceability system, which is called LITS. So we call upon all the farmers to register their livestock so that they also are entered into the system so that their livestock is traceable when they are stolen. So we know and we note that some are very reluctant to do so. Because when their livestock commit some errors on the road, then they don't want to pay. So hence the reluctancy. On the Mantusini, we have engagements, and in fact we have a planned meeting with the Minister of Agriculture.
Honourable MEC, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker. We have a planned meeting with the Minister of Agriculture. Amongst many issues that we're going to raise with him is the issue of Mantusini dairy. So we hope that when he comes down, we are going to deal with that matter and resolve it. This Eastern Cape time to strive is now. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable MEC. Honourable members, I put the report. Any objections? Thank you so much, Honourable members. We will now break for lunch. We will be back at 13:40. Thank you.